Welcome back to another painting, and thanks for choosing my channel. Let's go ahead and start this foresty looking landscape. You will see the list of colors to the left and a photo of a finished painting up there. This is the sketch I'm working with. I don't know if you could see with the glare, but at least this is what I'm working with, and I already have a version of that sketch on the canvas. I have toned the canvas with a mixture of purple and white, basically a tinted version value of purple, very light version of it. And if you choose to follow this tutorial at home, I recommend you go ahead and tone the canvas. I'm gonna start with a flat brush, and we're gonna start here, which is the brightest spot of the painting, and we're gonna move up. This light value of purple is gonna serve as the background in some of the areas, but we're gonna go ahead and bring a darker version of it, a darker value of it to the canvas. So we're gonna come over here and apply some of that light color here, and as I mentioned, this will be brightest spot of the painting right here. We don't have to be exact, we're gonna have bushes and trees and tree leaves around here. And now I'm gonna dab into my darker version of that purple and bring it up here. We're going to lose some of that sketch, but it doesn't matter. It's just there to guide us. As you see, having a canvas toned really helps. Always tone your canvas to a color close to what you're going to work with. And I'm gonna pick up my blender brush and just go ahead and blend this area very lightly. Now I'm gonna bring in some pink, already mixing in this cup. It's red and white, by the way. And I'm gonna apply some of that color up here. Just like so. I don't have to be perfect around here. Because we're gonna have trees. Just gonna apply it. Some of it will show through. As I said, we don't have to be perfect around there. Right in the center over here is where I want to be careful. Yeah, I'm just going to bring that color over here very lightly. Just go over it. Crisscross motion, and just go over it. Alright, I'm gonna switch to a filbert brush and make some darker version of that color, darker value, by adding more purple to it. And I'm gonna come over here and drop a few trees. Let's see. Yeah. You might not see it on the camera, I'm not sure, but in person I can see it. It's very close to the sky color or the background color, and the whole purpose is to push these trees way back, barely visible. something like that. You might be able to see this one. Barely visible. No details, no highlights. Way in the distance, maybe a couple of more over there. Maybe make these guys a bit darker by adding more purple to it. Come over here and just go ahead. Drop a few trees over here. With a filbert brush, you could use a fan brush if you want. A bit darker, maybe they're closer to us, but it's still way in the distance. Don't put any details into these things and don't make them any darker than this. You may be tempted to do it because that's the only thing you see on the canvas so far, but trust me, once you put darker values on the canvas, these things will look okay, and they're gonna look way in the distance. So just like that, some indication of trees. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to switch to a 1-inch bristle brush. I'm going to pick up some of that light purple. Maybe add a touch of darker purple to it. Make a very light value of it. And with the corner of this brush, we're going to come over here and drop some distant bushes and vegetations over here. As you see, they are a bit darker than the background, but not much. That's what we want. Some indication of distant bushes and trees. Now I'm going to go a bit darker by adding more darker version of my purple, and I'm going to come over here, create another layer, go right into my trees, a bit darker than that. And same value for over here. This is closer to us, this is in foreground. And just a stamp. Some darker value. And over here I'm just gonna go ahead, just indicate my land for now, so I know what I'm working with. And just tap into it, just blend these bushes and the land area together. Pick up some of my lighter version of that purple and blend it into all those distance bushes. And just like that, we are almost done with half of the painting. No big deal so far, fairly easy. Alright, I'm gonna switch to a filbert brush. I'm gonna pick up some of my darker purple, some black, and I'm gonna make a darker mix. We're gonna go ahead and drop our trees over here. We had a rock here. Let's just not forget about this rock over here. And I'm gonna go ahead, indicate my trees. This tree is gonna come right up there. And I'm gonna bring it down. And we're gonna have one in the foreground right over here, this side of the canvas. And we're gonna bring it right down here. And we're gonna have two trees in the foreground and on this side. And another one right next to it. Alright, with a small liner brush, some of that purple, some of that black. I'm gonna go ahead, indicate a few branches here. We may keep, we may not keep at the end, I'm not sure. Just so we have an idea what we're gonna work with. Maybe one here, maybe one here. Alright, I'm gonna continue with my purple and the filbert brush. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna basically make a lighter value of that purple, and we're gonna come over here and indicate few leaves and stuff like that on these trees. We're gonna work very loosely over here. Just gonna do the underpainting for these leaves and stuff like that. Some of these tree trunks gonna show, but most is gonna get covered. This is the underpainting for these things, so it may not make sense right now, but well, you see the finished painting up there, so. and I'm gonna try to show most of the brush strokes and a great deal of developing these trees, but a lot of these brush strokes gonna be similar. Anytime I switch my brush, I will bring you in. Anytime I'm doing something differently, I'm gonna bring you in, but for the most part it's going to be similar brush strokes as you see over here, and just creating some volume on these trees, and then we're gonna go ahead and apply some highlights, a bit darker version of that color for this area. This side of the right side of these trees, and left side of this tree is going to be in the shadow. So, and that tree is behind these two. There are 5 trees over here, so we want to cover all of them. It's going to be too long and it's going to get super boring. But I'm going to go ahead and edit it so we can have a smooth flow developing these trees and adding some volume to them. Continuing with these trees to the left. Same brush. And just building up these pine needles and leaves. Being mindful not to create patterns here. Change the shapes here and there. Working with some of that dark here, bringing a little bit darker value to some part of these trees. Alright, I'm going to switch to a long-handled round brush. I'm going to pick up some purple. I'm going to put it here. And some of my lighter mix, which is basically purple and white, that I have in this cup. And we're basically gonna go ahead and make a mid-tone for these trees. Maybe some of that darker version of it. And I'm gonna go ahead, apply some highlights to these trees, or rather mid-tone. You don't want to kill all the dark once you get to this stage. And if you accidentally go over the board, doesn't matter, you can get some of that dark back and fix the areas whether that you apply too much mid-tone or highlight. I'm going to pick up some of my darker value, and some areas I'm going to go ahead, bring it in so we can have a nice smooth blend. This stage is a lot of back and forth between mid-tone, dark tone, getting a good blend. With oil you don't have to do that because the paint stays wet, and as you apply your mid-tone and highlights you get automatic blend. With acrylic you have to do that manually. I'm gonna move on to these trees. Essentially same process for all of them. And I'm just going to continue, adding volume to these trees. Same brush stroke, indicating leaves. And pine needles. I think I'm gonna go ahead and bring this tree a bit closer, just like so, and push that one back. Just bring it a bit closer. And then we can keep that tree directly in the shadows and not much details, like so. Oftentimes, stand back, take a look at the tree. You could paint from a reference photo if you like the composition, but you don't like how these trees look. You can drop in the trees that you like, or use this painting as a reference. It's your choice. You can change the composition always, you know. You don't have to go with the same composition. Just keep what you like and leave out the things that you don't like and do your version of it. I'm going to begin introducing some of my pink onto my palette. I'm going to clean my brush. Clean your brush for this stage. Bring some of lighter pink that we had. Maybe use for the sky. Bring some of that purple. Maybe add a touch of white to the mix. I'm gonna go ahead and start with some highlights. Maybe we start up here. And always soften some of those hard edges. You're gonna see me going back and forth between the highlight color and the mid-tone, just to get a good blend. If you do this at home, if you choose to follow this tutorial and create the same painting, don't try to create this trees exact carbon copy of what I do. And the reason is I'm working randomly over here. Nothing is planned here, and if you want to go ahead and recreate this, it really doesn't make any sense. Just create your version of it. And if you asked me to do this over, I wouldn't be able to create the same thing, because most of these brush strokes are random. So don't be discouraged by looking at not this tutorial, any tutorials, by the fact that your cabin or your tree or your landscape doesn't look the same. It doesn't have to. I'm bringing some of that dark. Some of these areas, as they don't get a lot of light. and soften a few. And if you're watching this video as a YouTube short, subscribe to the channel, and there are lots of good content on the channel that you may find helpful. You have nothing to lose, you know. Come on in and view some of the videos. Alright, so I'm gonna continue here. Same idea, just over and over again. Building some volume. Continuing with some final highlights for these trees. Using lighter value of that purple, almost going toward pink in some areas. Still bringing in some of that darker purple at times, just to be able to blend. I think I'm gonna go ahead and stop with these trees at this point. Just a few more highlights here and there, and then at the end of the painting, if we need to go ahead and apply second row of highlights, we can do that. You can always apply highlights, you don't have to rush. Just gonna soften some of these highlights here and there. Some final touch-ups. I'm going to pick up some raw umber, a bit black, and thin my paint, some water with a liner brush. I'm going to go ahead, apply a few twigs and branches here and there. And maybe one over here. I'm just going to go ahead, re-indicate some of my tree trunks here. Maybe one here. Just some indication of some branches and twigs here and there. I'm going to switch to my filbert brush, same colors, raw umber and some black. I'm going to go ahead, work on my tree trunks, dropping the shadow side with that umber and black. And bringing some orange into the mix. Make a lighter mix. And just go ahead, dropping the highlighted side. I'm gonna go ahead, clean my brush, bring some more umber and just blend this. Just go ahead, get a soft blend. Alright, we're gonna pick up some raw umber, some of that purple, and I'm gonna go ahead and work on our land over here with a filbert brush. Just gonna drop some dark as underpainting for this area. We're gonna have some shrubs, some vegetations over here. Just gonna go ahead and loosely indicate that. Just want to create some contrast here, as you see. And we're gonna go ahead and bring this in. I'm gonna pick up some black, some umber. I'm gonna go ahead and indicate a rock in the foreground. At least some dark value for it. Bring some of that purple and just blend the blend it in into the landscape. We're gonna indicate the shadow of this rock as well. Right here, right behind it. I'm gonna bring some raw umber, some of that orange. Create some highlights for this rock. And just go ahead. Carve out this rock a bit, some of that umber. A bit black for the bottom. I'm gonna let this dry and go over it maybe one more time. Alright, I'm gonna switch my brush to a mop brush. We're gonna pick up some of our purple, maybe add a touch of light value of that purple to it, but still we want to be in the dark side. And I'm going to work on these bushes over here, so I'm apply some highlights here and there, just like so. I'm going to stay fairly dark in here as the light coming through this way. So I'm just going to go ahead and block some of this area as well. Maybe some light is peeking through here and there, bringing in some lighter value. But mostly we're gonna stay the dark side over here. And eventually all this bush is gonna continue to turn into maybe grassy area over here. And I'm gonna indicate that with this brush as well. We're not going to switch the brush. This brush is excellent for creating this kind of texture. Some of these bushes over here, we can indicate a few with the same brush. And at the same time, some shadow color for these bushes. Continuing with the same brush, indicating a few bushes here, and fade it into the background. Just tapping with the brush. And I'm going to bring in some lighter value of that purple. You could tint your purple with white, or make some reddish purple. I want to create a lot of texture in here, so I'm using this brush. Just some indication of something going on here. And soften a few. You want to stay very dark over here. Continuing with the mop brush, applying some highlights only to the tip of these bushes over here, as they may get some light. And just go ahead, soften a few. Now I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to dry it on a piece of rag. I'm going to bring some of my light reddish purple and some of that lighter purple, and by just tapping and creating an impression of grass, I'm going to come over here, get the excess paint off of my brush, tap my brush against the palette, open up those bristles, and we're going to start here and just go ahead, tap tap tap, and create now creating the impression of some grass and stuff like that. Now behind these bushes, I'm going to bring in some darker purple at the same time and just blend it. We're working with acrylic, and we have to work with all those dark, mid-tone and highlight color at the same time in order to get a blend. It doesn't work like oil. And bring in some of this light color, maybe some white, add some white to it. And bring it in. Bring in all these colors. And switch the colors in between. Maybe even some of that purple. As you see, we need a good blend over here. Get rid of the hard edges. So I'm going to get rid of the excess paint of my brush. I'm just going to go over it, tap, and just blend the whole thing. Bring some of that purplish, pinkish color, some of that darker purple, and like so, create a nice transition from the foreground to midground and background, getting rid of all the texture in the background, bringing some of this color here as well, create some highlight to these foreground bushes. And we're going to continue dropping this color and transition it by using darker purple into this shadow area, like so. Working with the same brush, same colors, some light purple, and I'm gonna go ahead and tap and create some highlights here, some texture. By tapping you can create texture. If you pull over with this brush, it gets rid of the texture, so you can use this brush two different ways. Excellent brush, like so. If you just tap, create cool texture. Creating some illusion of light coming through. I'm going to bring some of that orange that we had, light orange, some of that raw umber. With the liner brush, I'm going to go ahead and work on the highlight on this tree trunk a bit. Just go ahead and intensify that highlight a bit. And just blend that orange and raw umber together. Get a nice smooth transition. Maybe with the help of another brush, just go ahead and blend that. And with the help of another brush again, just blend that out. And some dark, some black for the shadow area. Maybe some of that umber. And just tap here, create some texture on this rock. Like so. With some pink, some very light lavender color, purple, and the same liner brush. I'm gonna come over here and create a bit more texture and details and fine tune these bushes over here. We are almost done with the painting. And maybe a few super highlights over here. Just like so. With the liner brush. with our liner brush, and essentially same colors that we used for those bushes. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a few indication of grass, overgrown grass here. I already did a few over here, just just like so, with a script liner. Some you may be able to see, some the camera may not pick up. We are using very light color. Now, I'm personally happy with this painting, with the design and the way we captured light in the foreground. So I may go ahead and work on this painting actually a bit longer, and maybe I add a few more details in the foreground, work on those tree trunks a bit longer. If I do so, I'm gonna definitely film it and post it on the channel. So if you're a subscriber, definitely come back and you will see an updated version or a part 2 of it. Just like so, some indication of grass where the light is hitting. Alright, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and call this painting complete, at least for now. And thank you for visiting my channel, and I hope you come back again for more videos. Hope to see you again. Take care and happy painting. Bye bye.